We're
Hello,
back.
everyone.
We're back.
Yeah.
In the new year.
Yeah.
The nude year. So
2018. We can...
we're in the future now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're living in broadcasting to you from the distant future of the year 2018.
201X.
Yeah.
21X.
So, yeah, welcome to the first talking simulator of 2018.
Yeah, a bunch of people were asking why we're going to be playing the game that we're playing today. Because we're going to hit FTL.
Yep.
And probably some other games.
Yeah, like there's a lot... What I wanted to talk about here was more like the concept of roguelikes. And just kind of like these games that you play for a little while and then...
These rogue-inspired games.
Yeah, because the first video game I ever played, I think, was Rogue at my uncle's house, where you're the little, like, face moving around the procedurally generated map.
The rogue of the namesake roguelike genre. Which, roguelike and I suppose rogue-inspired, because, like, what exactly entails a roguelike game has sort of expanded. And I'm just gonna...
and again, this is more of like a conversation around the idea of like what genre is and how you use the idea of genre. Because in my estimation, genre is a tool that allows you to like grapple onto something and maybe examine it in some way, right? But you don't want to run the risk of it being a template that you apply and evaluate like success or failure based on, right?
There's actually a whole bunch of games showing up in chat that I've heard of, and some of which I played. We will definitely not get to all of them. We'll probably mention them.
Yeah.
Because like there's some that we just like either don't own or don't have installed, like Enter the Gungeon.
Yeah.
We might have Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, but it's one I haven't played.
It's one I have played and I don't like it.
Fair enough.
It's super duper popular and I did not care for it.
Yeah, that's...
I think it's a good game.
Yeah, but if it's not your thing, then it's not your thing. Generally speaking, roguelikes are not my thing because I don't like the heavy RNG element of it, which is weird because I think there is something to be learned in examining the ways in which a game that I really like, namely XCOM, has roguelike properties. Namely its heavy RNG element.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should back it up and just sort of try to like define in loose terms what roguelike even entails.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of characteristics that sort of define the game Rogue. I think the big one is procedurally generated levels, where the content you play is gonna be different every time.
Yes.
There's other little hallmarks that get borrowed sometimes and other times not, like the potions being
different
every time, the scrolls being different every time, because Rogue was a fantasy game.
Yes. So
and, yeah, every time you started a map, the dungeon layout would be different, and the potions, which were different colors,
would have different
every
properties.
time there would be a fixed number of potions they could be, but every time the color corresponded to a different one. So it was kind of like trial and error. To figure it out
and then
each
you
time.
could have like scrolls of identify, which would tell you what things were. But sometimes you were just, backed into a corner and you needed to hit a potion.
All right, let's hit a potion. Oh, it was poison.
Yep.
Rip. But yeah, those sort of basic elements have been sort of iterated out on into many, many different games.
Yeah.
Even the sort of like permadeath aspect of the game is another attribute that they're sort of known for.
Yeah, well, and failure being a very critical element of the roguelike.
Yeah, it's just like, because if you crater, that's it. It's over.
Yeah.
You start again with nothing. Although some games have sort of opted out of that characteristic.
Well, Rogue Legacy
has
a bit of a...
one of a series of what ended up being called roguelites, which is, it still has the sort of random element and the character being killed permanently, but there is like a progression system where in Rogue Legacy specifically, you pay it forward to your progeny. Like parts of your progress are paid forward and you like invest in the castle, which is sort of enhances like your lineage.
Okay.
So every time, like, because you play as as the successor to each character. Because once they're dead, they're gone forever.
Right.
Like tombstoned. And then you play their son or daughter.
Right.
The next time. And as you advance, you can invest money that you got to have better classes in your successors and different things like that.
Yeah. And I also enjoy the term roguelite as being somehow like the Diet Coke version of a
Yeah, it's just like, we're not going to be that hard on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've never heard of Rogue Legacy, it's very good.
But let's start on a game that people broadly agree is a roguelike, which is FTL, which is a game that I'm desperate to like. I tried it quite a lot, and I bounced really hard off of one of the RNG elements, which is sometimes you can generate maps that just you never had a chance
That are unwinnable?
Yeah.
Huh.
Or where that are technically winnable if you, because there's a fuel mechanic. Well, here, let's play it a bit.
Okay.
Switch over the...
Because, yeah. That's interesting that, like, oh, you need to log out and...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting because even, like, some of the like, renowned, like, hardest games in the world are beatable every time. But if what you're saying is true, there are certain states where it's like, this game cannot be completed. Like...
I feel that there are... It might be a bit like solitaire.
Oh, yeah?
Like games of solitaire, where there are states that are unwinnable, but they're probably not as frequent as the ones where, like, because there's a fuel mechanic where you can only make so many jumps in FTL, and there are refueling stations scattered around the map. Okay. And there is probably an algorithm in the game that says that there will not be a refueling station further away than what you can make it to from the start of the game. But if you don't jump correctly to that, you can run out of fuel and break yourself. And there's also an element where, like, in Rogue, it was possible, though very unlikely, that you might encounter a much higher level monster at a lower level dungeon.
Right.
But most of my games in Rogue Legacy involve me encountering a much more difficult enemy, or in FTL involve me encountering a much more difficult ship than I should at a certain point in the game, and it just missiles you from like into a couple of hits.
That sounds like a drag.
Yeah, it kind of is. Right? You can see I've played a total of 9 hours on this.
All right, well, let's have a look. I've actually never played this game, so I'm deferring to Cam's expertise on that. Because we're gonna
like, I really like its art style. I love its music.
Well, I mean, you love sci-fi.
Yeah.
Not all of us love sci-fi, but I dig sci-fi.
Keep screen setting. So I remember having a couple of ships.
So you pick a ship.
Yep. And this is like your iconic starting ship. And then you've got weapon systems.
Turn that down just a bit.
Ooh, the mouse is behaving a bit strangely here. Goodbye. Where did the mouse go?
Oh, there it is. What the?
Now it's gone again.
That's exciting.
This is...
What? Oh dear. What is happening? What? It's not... None of the controllers are plugged in.
Nope.
Why is this happening? That's weird.
Let's restart the game.
That's... Sure. Maybe it's a full screen thing. Also, is the mouse dirty?
Probably not. I've never encountered this problem before.
Shouldn't matter.
Because it's fine. No, there it goes.
What in the fuck? Okay. Why?
It doesn't seem to...
This is a really, really weird bug.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, try it on that.
There is no mouse ball.
There hasn't been a mouse ball in like
since
20
1998.
years. Haunted mouse.
It is a wired mouse.
It's a weird bug that happens sometimes. What? What the fuck? So hang on. Sorry, is this just like a known bug? That your mouse doesn't fucking work? I mean, maybe we just try blundering through it.
This is going to drive me insane.
That's fucked. Wait, native? I hope it's like a screen. Hang on, anybody? 100 hours and never had it happen. Found a thread with a fix. 1 second. Okay, here we go. Please try the patch. Oh, is it a Windows 10 issue? God.
Right click, properties, select beta. Sorry,
Successfully updated in the beta, so close, and then it's updating. Sorry.
This is a very unusual problem.
We made the very foolish assumption that this game would, you know, work when we launched it. One time. So far, so good. Stretch, I guess?
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Seems okay. So, yeah,
that
we've
was
got
weird.
different weapon systems.
Okay.
Our ship has different properties, right? This is its power.
Mm-hmm.
Which
is there? Sorry, there's a colorblind mode on this game.
We'll go to.
Ooh, accessibility. Hey!
So do we need to restart?
I
Let's
don't
restart.
think so, but it's a roguelike. If you rolled weird mouse issue, uninstall and reinstall, you might get a better bug next run.
Okay, and then we have cruise.
Okay.
Right?
Skills improve slightly faster.
Let me see if I even remember how to play this.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So we are fleeing from the Federation fleet.
Okay. And this is the scenario every time?
Yeah. Okay. So. Well, here we are. Everything seems fine. So we've got one crew on weapons, one crew on engines, and one crew on navigation. Then we have other things here, like
Med bay.
yeah, we can life support. If we lose life support, the ship will slowly become uninhabitable.
Ugh.
If we, fires will close off areas, we have to send people to fight them. These are our shields, so we can have somebody repairing our shields. Yeah, we've got all kinds of neat options here. So let's jump. Where to? Here's our exit.
So that's where you're trying to get to?
Yep, and we can see the maps from it, right?
Interesting. And then it shows you where you can jump to from. Interesting.
Open all the doors.
Wait, what?
There was a command for it.
Oh, neat.
It makes it so you can move faster. And then you close them in combat.
Huh. I get the feeling this is one of those wiki-heavy games.
Yeah.
Also, if you open the one to the outside, does everybody just die?
I think so, yeah.
Huh.
Actually, I'm going to close those
oxygen.
doors.
Yeah, let's... You know what, maybe leave the airlock closed.
Yeah.
Boop!
So, again, there's events everywhere, right? Help us. We are being attacked by pirates. We can help them or stay out of it.
Hi, James.
Hello.
Hello.
Do you want coffee? I just brewed coffee.
Yes.
Okay. You just like black coffee, right?
Yes. Thank you. I've been abandoning coffees everywhere.
It's the rebels we're fleeing? Huh. Interesting.
Okay. All right.
Pirate.
So we can.
So this is the same thing, layout, but smaller.
Yep. Set power to weapons.
Blang! You're already on fire.
Yep.
Okay, I see. So it's like it's. I hesitate to call it a resource management game, but it is. There are resources to manage.
Yep.
When I say resource management, I usually mean like a tactical or like an RTS.
Oh,
We
one of
lost
our
it.
dudes died.
Okay, that's bad. But it's definitely very inspired by, you know, like Star Wars, Star Trek kind of sci-fi. Wow, we are getting totaled.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. There's a lot of helpful suggestions.
Topwise! Turn it topwise!
We're probably gonna brick out a couple times.
Yeah. Oh. Right. Pause is a great suggestion.
Okay. So you can pause to assess things, but you can't do anything.
Yeah.
This just gives you time to think.
Apparently, yeah.
Man,
Engine's critical.
whatever happened to pause buttons?
I don't know. Shield's critical.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's how we do that.
Oh, neat. So that's bad, right?
Yeah, probably.
Danger. Okay, so that didn't go so well.
Hmm.
Let's run it back.
What are the controls again?
Press F to pay respects.
Yep. Right. Yeah. Okay. Right. Sorry, it's been years.
You know, you think that you know how to play a game. And
Yep.
then
So this is another thing where we can take the most efficient route to the exit point, or you can explore more and try to find like interesting things.
all right. Whoop.
Then you need to take possession of an enemy ship intact.
Interesting. You know, I'm getting this. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Seed Ship, except way more granular.
Yeah, actually, Siege Ship is not a bad example of a roguelike either.
Yeah, it's a very stripped down roguelike, but
Yeah.
I suppose it is.
I don't think I need to pick a fight here.
Let's play it early.
What is the control to open all doors? Oh, there it is, Z.
Oops.
I wanted to close all doors, not vent the ship to space.
It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
It's a learning curve. You're fine. You always thought this game was extremely stripped down? No. This looks incredibly granular. Like, if you were to...
Weapons and-
like, if I were to compare this to, like, I don't know, any sort of, like, space shooter where, like, you just steer the plane around and shoot at stuff and maybe go fast, this you're controlling individual crew members and moving them between rooms and managing, like,
and power.
a number of resources and, like, routing stuff and so forth. It's like, there's quite a lot to it. Everything's less granular than Dwarf Fortress.
Yeah. Oh, there's a shop.
Like, a beach is less granular than Dwarf Fortress.
I don't think we have anything to trade, though. Ah.
Also, there's a trading system as well.
Yep. Internal cameras are offline.
Individual crew members gain skill with individual systems. Damn it, Jim.
Plasma storm. Multiple recently incapacitated ships loom in the shadows, briefly illuminated by the lightning.
Oh, that's so interesting because, like, this event is just like something that would happen in Siege Ship.
Yeah.
But this is, like, one part of a larger kind of landscape of a game.
Oh, and this is the Rebel fleet.
Oh, shit. They're coming in like a big, like, wall.
Yep.
Interesting. So that's
Or
like
no, sorry, yeah.
So that's like a time limit, but, like, more visually represented and, like, you losing ground. Wall of rebels. Relationship hostile. Please, we're gonna try. Please don't type in all caps. I'm gonna declare weapons free on moderation as far as like I'm not saying don't tell us, like, don't help us out, but don't type in all caps.
Yeah, it's a very simple.
You are shouting. So what's that thing doing to our shields?
It's shooting us.
What an asshole.
Oh, but we killed it. We murdered those people.
They did. So what does the gray indicate?
That indicates that we have, our cameras are offline.
Oh, so you just can't see into those areas?
Yeah. So there, like, when that happens, there can be borders, there can be damage that you're completely unaware of.
That's interesting. I feel like this is going to be the kind of game that I like in concept and would never, ever, ever play.
Yeah, like, I really wanted to love this game.
I think I certainly see why people enjoy it.
Was more trying to get us to kill ourselves than gameplay advice. Good old chat working as intended.
Always listen to chat, never listen to chat.
Yeah. This is our first time playing this in a while. Kill yourself!
Not I self, self. Don't touch me.
Yeah, because I remember borders are quite dangerous in this game.
That sounds really scary.
Yeah, you can get boarded and they will fuck you up.
Do they just go after your crew, or do they attack your subsystem?
They attack subsystems and they'll kill crew if they find them.
Yeesh.
This is a game I have problems with. It'd be funny if we got them to kill themselves.
So the nature of there being a lot of hotkeys also kind of scans with what I had surmised earlier, which is this is a like
very micromanaging.
Very micromanaging in one of them wiki games.
Yeah.
Which is not in any way a criticism, because like you'll notice I really like Minecraft. That game's fucking impossible to play without a wiki.
Yep.
Even
absolutely.
with the crafting book, which helps a lot, to really get anywhere in that game, you need a wiki. Which is interesting, like, because it's not like wikis for these games are not always created or managed by the designers themselves. It's like a community sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder how in the fuck sometimes people figured stuff out to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like somebody eventually had to go in there and we are exploding here, here, and here. Looks like we've taken out their weapons, though.
I mean, it's like you can play Minecraft without a wiki, but to, like, play Minecraft, you need a wiki.
Yay! So yeah, we've got scrap that we can trade for at shops.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's like metagame stuff that is probably important to know, because a lot of people are saying that, you know, you should explore the early game so you can farm resources. It's like, well, it's sure not going to tell you that anywhere. That's just something you kind of work out eventually. It also depends on how you like playing games. Like, I think I kind of dig having the sort of instruction, like the full extent of the instructions revealed to me. It's been a while since I went into a game that was really, really elaborate and dense, completely blind. Like, even Dark Souls.
Oh, yeah,
I watched a bunch of videos at the start, and then I ended up, like, researching into, like, what I could do. And I think that's a perfectly valid way to play it. I think it would be perfectly valid to play it blind and just, like, clunk yourself into problems until you worked it out. People love the donut.
Yeah, you fail to learn, right?
Yeah, if I ever get back to playing Demon Souls, I will probably do it blind-ish. Because I did play a bunch of it and I quite liked it.
I mean, we can probably make a couple more jumps here to explore. Sure, why not?
Yeah. How long does a typical, like, start to complete game session take in FTL?
A couple of hours, maybe? Let's pick fights.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned XCOM in relation to this game, because all these different areas with the different systems in it definitely reminds me of your base.
Yep.
And, like, managing them. Although, does your base ever come under attack?
It can. There was a mission in the first game called, or in the expansion called, Ashes and Temples.
Yeah.
Where the aliens attacked your base. Incoming!
Yeah. And in this game, are you ever able to expand your ship, or is it just this is what you have to work with?
You can get new systems. You can power up your ship, as we saw earlier.
Interesting.
There we go.
Bonk. Dead. Rip.
Oh god, Ashes and Temples was such a good mission. It was such a cool name, too. Yeah, the drone is shooting down the missiles.
Dinger.
Like, my main issue with... James brought me coffee.
Yeah.
How did I not notice this?
Because you don't have coffee.
I was deep in the tank, I guess.
Yep.
I was deep in the FTL tank. I really enjoyed playing this game, and the thing I didn't like was encountering monsters that you had no chance against. But that's
It's just like luck of the draw.
sometimes, yeah. Like there's always the element of failure. That failure is a part of this experience, and it felt like failure here was a lot more arbitrary.
It was just like nothing you could have like
Yeah.
foreseen or planned for.
Yeah, it felt like there was this old arcade game that I remember playing when I was a kid, when you would play in arcades.
Yeah.
And it was this rad helicopter game where you would actually sit in it and you had like the collective and the other thing. And it had a fuel mechanic that just ticked down no matter what you were doing.
Yeah.
And the game would be like, no, you've played enough.
Just
It'd
like
be like, give me more quarters. You buy more quarters. It was...
yeah.
Arcade games used to be microtransactions, right? But it wanted if you wanted to keep playing, you had to keep buying fuel.
But
And
like,
it was like, you've played enough, now the game is over. And that's what it felt like here, only there was no...
there's no quarters.
Yeah, there was no quarters. It felt like a lot of the time the game was like, I think you've played this game
You
for
know
long
what's
enough.
interesting? This was maybe a discussion I was having with somebody at some point. I can't remember who it was, but it's like video games. Most video games fundamentally are fair.
Yeah.
Some of them are really, really fucking hard. But even I Want to Be the Boshi has jumps you can make.
Yes.
And anytime a game throws something at you that you can't have dealt with, it feels like a betrayal of the trust that you invest
established with game.
in the video game. It's just
Yeah.
like, I should, if it was something that I screwed up, sure. But if it was just like random chance, that maybe it's because it feels too much like real life, where it's like you could, eat healthy all your life and get cleaned up by an asteroid.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, well, what the fuck is that? If I wrote a story about this, people would call it contrived.
Yeah, exactly. So more power, I think. I mean, more shields is probably correct.
This is a game that is not fair until you learn. Although, like, even if you know everything about this game, like, is it still possible to just get bricked? Like,
I mean,
are you like
there's no guarantee that you're going to win any game, right? I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
very experienced players are still like, no, yeah, just, you die and that's it, right? And I feel like I should be appreciating this almost as an exercise analogous to drawing a mandala in the sand,
right?
right? Where you're like, you work on this beautiful thing, and then it's over, and then you just wipe it away,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know, this has no real spiritual equivalence to that.
It's about the journey.
Yeah. Win streaks on hard are a thing. Remember, power equal to any upgrade. Because we don't have enough power right now to keep everything charged. Do we have enough to go anyplace else? Because they'll be here next time.
Wish bragging? Never heard of that word.
We can jump here, but we only have so many jumps. Yeah,
I suppose maybe it's subjective what the game bricking you and... Well, I guess you could make an argument for it's like oh, I lost because of RNG. It's like, well, no, you could have done this, 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 and this. It's like, well, we can't actually hop in a time machine and run every simulation of, what I could have done. So, I don't know, who's right?
I mean, it depends what you want out of video games, right? I don't think hire the mercenary to delay the rebels.
The Vex.
Fleet delayed by 2 jumps. Alright, cool. 1, 2, 3, and then, okay, perfect.
It's like, we're gonna T-bone him.
Yep. Alright, bring their shields down first, right?
And give him the beans.
Then knock down their weapon systems.
I guess... So, XCOM, which you really liked, do you feel that it shares the problem of it, like, you breaking after a while?
There are definitely positions you can get into in XCOM where a slow bleed begins at the beginning of the game, and let me start over again. You can lose a game of XCOM in the first 2 months and not lose the game for another 4 months.
Oof. So it's like playing against Mono Blue.
Yeah, where you don't realize when you have lost, but there was definitely a point several hours ago when the game became unwinnable.
Wow. So, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, like, what makes...
I think we take this.
Yeah, what makes that experience different from this one? Like, why do you like XCOM and not FTL?
To be fair, I get burnt out on XCOM.
Okay. I mean, that's hardly surprising.
Because mainly that experience, right? Like the experiences that I find most unpleasant in XCOM are when you are fighting a giant alien monster.
Yeah.
That has an evasion ability. Which gives them, like, 15% dodge or 25% chance to just dodge an attack.
Yeah.
When you only get 4 or 5 or 6 attacks a turn.
Yeah.
If you go all in.
Yeah.
And the ones I'm thinking of in particular here are these giant flying monsters called Archons.
Yeah.
That have very deadly attacks and that they need to be dealt with when they appear. They have like 30 health, so they require full attention from your team.
Yeah.
And if they dodge 2 attacks,
you lose.
They will kill one of your soldiers next turn.
Okay.
Right?
Roll them dice.
Yeah.
Good gravy.
Yeah.
Is that mitigated by you being able to save?
To an extent. Can we go here and then out? Explored location, right.
Because I have seen you, like, reload saves a lot. That surely must ameliorate that a bit.
It does.
It's just like, oh, that was bullshit.
Yeah, and what the game does to prevent you from save scumming, which is a term I don't particularly like, but it generates its RNG seed in advance. So if you were to make an attack and miss and reload, you would have the same roll again. But what you can do to save scum is you take things in different order. For example, if you make an attack and miss like a 90% attack, what you can do is reload, move, provoke an opportunity attack from the aliens, and then they take that roll, so they miss their 90% attack.
What?
Right? It's very weird.
That's so weird. That's really bizarre.
Or you can also take it with, like, maybe you didn't miss a 90%, maybe you missed a 60%.
Interesting.
And maybe what you can do instead is take a 90% shot first to burn that roll.
You're using up your good luck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where luck is actually a fungible resource.
So wait. Are you trying to tell me that XCOM is Candyland? on some small level.
Who are the Zoltan again?
Don't change the subject. XCOM is Candyland.
I'm not saying
which
you're
means
wrong.
it's deterministic.
Bum, 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 bum.
Oh no! Fuck. I wanted to talk about save
Energy
scumming.
people, power.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about save scumming actually because that's a I hesitate to call it a meme, but like a thing in rogue and roguelike games, which was, I think did it start with the very first one, where if you load into a level, it's going to be random, like the layout, the items, all that stuff. The idea of save scumming was like reloading that level to re-roll the area so that it was more favorable to you.
Yeah.
And so abusing the random nature to
generate preferable
conditions.
Yeah.
And there's some games where you can do that and other games that you can't.
So what I'm going to do is fuck around here a bit and try to get more stuff. Ooh.
I guess we've sort of come to use save scum as any sort of like abusing save states
Yeah.
thing. Although save scumming is like pretty specifically a rogue thing, just because you are actually, it's not just I want to try again at this juncture. It's like I want to actually recreate the conditions in which this next encounter will occur. It's not like in Half-Life where it's just like, I'm going to save after every jump, so if I fuck it up, I can try it again from there.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm making my own checkpoints. You don't play Candyland, you allow the game to iterate. To briefly explain what I mean, the game Candyland is a board game where instead of dice, the player movement is determined by a deck, which is shuffled before the game, and then players take turns revealing cards to show where they're going to move. Which means, after that deck is shuffled and cut, the winner is already determined. Like, there will, like, one person at the table will win guaranteed because all of the results have been pre-created.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's like you can play this game and be like, oh man, I'm getting ahead. It's like, oh no, I'm falling behind. It's like, nope. Results have already been chosen.
Whew.
Which I suppose makes it a really bad game.
I mean, it's probably one that children who it's targeted to
Or probably enjoy it because it's...
or probably like just in hell.
Yeah. Boof. Yeah, it's not really a game because there's no decision. It's not even random. Although, see, that's an interesting conundrum. See, now I'm just thinking about like game theory. It's like snakes and ladders. It's like the players don't really make any decisions. They're just randomly advanced along a board. Does that mean like Snakes and Ladders is not a game?
Don't do this to us.
Right?
Is it a sandwich then?
No! Okay, that's too far. That's too far. That's too far.
In my point of view, spaghetti is a sandwich. A sandwich has bread, Anakin.
Just like smash cuts.
Too far.
That's too far. Just smash cuts to like Roy gouging.
What's up, Adam? You want to come in?
Yeah, dude. We're playing FTL and talking about how is Shoots and Ladders a game because the players don't make any decisions.
They don't?
Yeah, they don't. You take your turn, you roll dice and move a number of squares forward.
Yeah.
They make no decisions. Like, thanks for ruining Shoots and Ladders.
When
My
the
favorite
fuck?
game of
When
all
the
time.
fuck did you play Shoots and Ladders
All the time.
last?
I'm in a league. I'm in a Victoria Shoots and Ladders league. Thanks a lot. Now I'm gonna take this news to everyone, and we're never gonna play. You've disbanded the league.
Just like, yeah, we gotta call off rungs and scoops. Rungs and bums.
Ooh, new crew.
But yeah, like the question of what is a game is actually an interesting question.
What's my K to D in that league?
What's my KDR?
My KDR
Sorry.
is like 4-1.
I'm gonna completely go off on a tangent when like there was some discussion on like a forum about, I think it was Simo Haiha that finished Sniper from World War II, and somebody's like, oh man, I wonder what his KDR is. KDR M1.
Ooh, cloaking. Oh, have a good one, Adam.
Yeah, see ya.
Okay, well, we want to fix our thing.
I mean, I suppose that it sort of comes down to what...
Yeah, 750 to 0 so far.
Wow. Yeah. What attributes you associate with a game? Where you could say that it's about player choice, you could say that it's about like pieces or competition or something like that. So I don't know.
Another crew member would be, I think, good here.
Yeah, what does that make games like craps or roulette? Oh yeah, gambling. There's decisions.
Yeah.
There's
well, I mean,
there's lots of decisions
Marshall
in
will tell
gambling.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marshall will talk to you extensively about poker, right?
Yeah. I think almost all gambling games, even like roulette, or not roulette, even slot machines have an element of player choice, and not just the decision to play it.
Yeah.
There's like, you put in your money and you assign like, do I want like columns or rows or whatever, and that has an effect on it. It's primarily luck based.
Yeah, like, I mean, there are games where I had a math prof who once told us about roulette and how she doesn't like roulette because there's not only is there 0, which is auto lose, but there's now double 0. Certain unscrupulous casinos have put double zeros on their roulette wheels,
Oh, yeah?
which is now 2 everyone loses spots.
Interesting.
So there are ones that are like pretty random.
Yeah, you're told Baccarat is wholly random, but you don't know how to play Baccarat. I mean, even the amount to wager is a decision. Baccarat is predetermined. Yeah, that's maybe different.
I mean, I guess the rock dude is quite good to have because he's immune to fire.
Can a game be unlosable? Yes. I think so. I mean, I feel so, because it's like a lot of the like exploration games we play, you can't really lose. Like, I made a joke when we played it's gone out of my head. No, now loading. Dear Esther, that if you walk into the sea, it sort of like has like a death screen and respawns you at the shore. I was kidding. You don't really lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that my personal opinion, and I think I talked about this when we spoke about it, is that the idea of failure states gets brought up a lot to try and diminish the value of exploration and narrative games in a way that's not very useful. It's just like an arbitrary...
Yeah, people have decided that a fail state
is necessary, because it's... Honestly, you know why I think it is? Because it sounds official.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, I'd agree with you.
The phrase fail state sounds important and official. And
well,
like,
but by that logic, Dark Souls is not a game.
Yeah, because you can't lose. You just... You respawn at the bonfire every time. You can never completely brick out on that game. So it's like, well, you can fail, but how much is like failing?
Yeah.
You know, you could in theory just wander a level forever and, you know, not find your way out.
I don't think it's a useful metric at all.
Yeah. You can't lose, you just rage quit.
Yep.
So.
I suppose you can die of a rage heart attack. Right?
Well, that's
kind of...
yeah.
People are saying rock pilots are good because I guess you never need to move your pilot around.
Yeah.
Your pilot's always going to sit there, so their half-moved rate is not.
Snakes and Ladders has no fail state. Yeah, only a win state. Well, then it has a fail state. There's one winner and then the rest lose.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Like chess has a fail state. Most.
I think we still have enough time to fart around on this map.
Most competitive games have some sort of fail state. But yeah, I don't think I think that it's like a useful function for games to have. I think it works. It's very good at like determining an outcome to an experience, but I don't think that it's mandatory. I don't think it's mandatory at all. I think it's one way among many of creating an experience.
We have to get out of here. Solar flares.
That sounds bad.
Yep. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, fail state, win state are by no means mandatory for something to be a game. Like I said, they are useful and clear, and easy to understand. Which is probably why they get used so much. It's like there's solutions that have been converged on that like achieve an effect that is, it works. It's like, why do we have so many shooters? It's because like that style of gameplay has been solved and it totally works. And you don't even necessarily have to try very hard to, make one. Because all of the legwork has been done already. Like shooters work, platformers work. And then you can just sort of iterate a little bit on, the graphics, the advancement system, whatever else you want to put into it. Yeah, I don't think that games require a win-lose state any more than they require platforming.
Yeah.
Or points. Though that still begs the question, it's like, at what point do you assign the status of game to something? Which is kind of interesting. It's like, at what point does something become not a game?
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like maybe those lines are actually just sort of blurry.
Yeah.
Because like these designations are kind of arbitrary by nature. I don't think that there's like a hard razor's edge where it's like game, non-game.
Yeah. Well, it's like art, right? We've been having this argument for millennia about what art is, right? I'm not sure there's a functional definition yet.
Yeah. Toy with structure. It's like, is Nobby Nobby Boy a game? It's like, because there's not, it's just a thing you fuck around with. Yeah. And it's like, but if you had fun with it, is it a game? That's what I mean. I actually think it's probably a gradient.
Yeah. Hey, Lily.
Yeah, what is art? Yeah, like...
You feel like you're in your first year art classes?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's like, I think that people like being able to sort things into very clearly defined boxes, and it's frustrating when something won't fit. It's like a block that won't go through any of the holes you have. Yeah. And so you reject it and are just like, I don't care what the fuck this is. It's annoying to me. Because it doesn't, fit into one of my boxes. Is art a game? But
I think we can get into more.
I suppose. Yeah, there's more nuance to that. Why are calculators not games, or why are they games? I think you could play. I think a calculator. I mean, it's a tool. You could utilize a calculator to play a game. You could utilize a pitchfork to play a game. Also, like, where is a game? Oh, now we're gonna drive people insane. Yep. Where is soccer?
On the pitch.
But where is it? Where is the game soccer? Sorry, football. Where is football located?
Is it in its rules document?
it's just like, you know, like where's chess?
Yeah.
It's just like, well, it's the rules that people know, and then the pieces. It's like, but you don't need the actual pieces. You could play it with like spare change,
Yeah.
or funny rocks,
Yeah.
or something. If you had like a partial knowledge of how the game worked, would it still be chess? Would it be a chess-like? Man, I'm so good at just like posing unanswerable questions that like drive people insane.
Well, yeah, because you can play chess mentally,
Oh yeah.
right?
But yeah, it's like, I suppose it's the symbiosis of players' utensils and rules, in a sense.
Yeah, it's a system.
So like, the video game is this system or symbiosis of the player, Cameron, the utensils, the computer, and the rules, the software. That's maybe a useful way of thinking of it.
Okay, well, this is not such a bad downside because we're already at the sector jump location.
Although that unfortunately doesn't actually, like, because I could just as easily use that definition to describe, like, Photoshop. Is Photoshop a game?
I believe you're supposed to call it Adobe Photoshop.
Sorry, Adobe Photoshop. Is Excel a game? If you utilize Excel to create spreadsheets for Dungeons and Dragons, is it a game? Is it an element of your game?
Nah, fuck these guys.
Is life a game? Ask Diva.
Am I a game? I certainly play myself frequently.
Is wood a game? See, now we're actually just gonna like be these cyclical questions.
But is it art just because you can hang it on a wall?
I hung my rug on the wall. Is it now art?
NG Homeworlds. Zoltan Homeworlds.
Twitter is the best RPG. Yeah, is Twitter a game? It's an RPG where you play an exaggerated version of yourself and you try to get the most likes and reblogs. Twitter has a fail state. Twitter is a game where everyone loses.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you play yourself enough to next level.
You just play yourself so hard.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
Being banned is a fail state. Being chased off Twitter is a fail state. Twitter is the fail state. Anyway, I think the designation game is a useful shorthand for a type of electronic experience. And it's not always going to, like, it means a lot of stuff, but if I talk about a game, broadly speaking, people will know what I'm talking about. Like, if I talk about Dear Esther, it's like, oh, what is it? It's a game. You buy it on Steam and you play it on your computer.
Yeah. Is it on Steam? Then it's a game.
Well, that's not the designation I'm getting for, but it's just like, for practical purposes, just referring to it, it's fine if I call it a game. At least I think so. Because like there's been some amount of pushback against that kind of designation, like as far as like narrative and exploration games are concerned, stating that they're more like interactive art or something like that. It's like,
Well, I mean, like, yeah,
even if maybe that's more accurate, I don't think it'll ever catch on.
fair. I remember, what was in the 80s? The United States Supreme Court famously, one of the justices famously said, he knows porn when he sees it.
Uh-huh. Really?
Yeah.
So, if I hold my fingers like this, is it porn?
I don't know.
Here, I'm going to draw a line very slowly, and you tell me when it becomes a dick.
Yep. There's...
Is this a finger? If I draw a little slit in the
This
end,
this event has no good outcome.
does it become a phallus? You know?
I mean, the definition I always found most useful was art is not the painting. It is the system that exists between viewer and object.
Yeah, it's like context. Like that's why
Yeah.
the soup can.
Yeah.
Like the act
Just leave these people to die?
Yeah, like the act of taking an ordinary object and contextualizing it in an artistic setting is what made it art.
Yeah.
And pissed off a lot of people. Like,
honestly, honest question for chat. Do we actually send crew to help? Don't help, that is how you lose a crewman. No? Help?
no, heck no, never, no, run. Okay.
Okay. Oh, these poor people.
Yeah. I do want to state that there's plenty of like art that I don't think is good.
These poor people.
It's still art.
These poor people. We can't leave them.
Like people who paint with their butt or just like put a pile of shit on a pedestal or something. It's like still art, not good. I don't think it's good. Maybe somebody else would think it's good. And maybe we're both right. It's like those paintings that are just like one tone that piss people off because they're like, I could have painted that. It's like, well,
but you didn't.
But you didn't.
Yeah.
It's like, shit, it sounds like you got some work to do. You need a high combat skill to successfully fulfill that mission. Or a specific weapon. Plus some of those tones are created for the painting. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's just like... The sensation
We've got borders.
Oh, fuck. The sensation I got about those sort of criticisms is just like, is it not enough to just say I don't like something? That you need to, like, strip it of its status of being that classification?
Yeah.
I don't know, it just doesn't seem that useful. They're going after your oxygen. That's bad.
They are.
You know, like this sometimes happens, or it's just like, it's like, oh, this isn't music. But it's like, well, yes, it is. You just hate it, and like maybe even understandably so. It's like it's still music. You just don't like it.
Yeah. This is where we lose.
Oh fuck. Like, I think a lot of the stuff that Kathleen listens to, you could argue is non-music, but it's like, I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't care for it. Because, like, I hear the way she describes it, and it's like, well, you're obviously getting something out of this, and I, like, don't think you're a liar.
Yeah. You're allowed to enjoy things that other people don't
It's
like.
just like, all right, you know, it's just like, the position I try to take these days, you know, to various degrees of success, is just like, more for you.
Yeah.
More for you. Just like, I don't like this thing, so enjoy. More for you. More for you.
We're dead.
We're fucked.
We're actually dead here.
11% O2. Oh, and leaking?
Yep.
Blech! Wow. This would be a great time to take a break because we're first hour in. All right, so we're gonna go away and maybe come back with either more of this or some other roguelikes.
Yeah, all right.
So, BRB. Snowmercial. Beep boop.
Hey. So, we're back. I kind of am enjoying FTL because I haven't been bullshitted out of it yet.
All right.
I mean, not too badly.
By the end-
I think that boarding action was kind of horseshit. But that was something we probably could have navigated around if I had remembered how to deal with borders, which is you send everyone to medbay
I suppose
and you fight them there.
Well, like people said, that like the more knowledge you have, the greater your chances of weathering any sort of catastrophe are.
Mm-hmm.
Although ultimately, maybe there are some that you can't get over. And
yeah.
I suppose maybe your enjoyment of the game hinges on, how well you're able to accept those.
Yeah, I mean, it is a game that is largely about coping with loss. Right?
Yeah. Halberd laser. Don't feed the spiders.
Don't feed the spiders. Upgrade doors, don't feed the spiders.
God damn it!
Wow, we actually got lost.jpg'd in the... I love how Zoe Quinn has started autographing her book.
No, she hasn't.
Yeah, with that.
Fuck's sake. You can map the stages of grief to roguelikes? I suppose you can. It's just like denial. Maybe this will go better this time.
Yeah.
Anger. What the fuck? I got front-loaded with everything. Bargaining. Okay, maybe I can salvage this playthrough.
We lose!
Depression. We are fucked. Acceptance. I was fucked. That's really funny.
Oh, we have Dolan.
What?
Dolan, please.
Dolan plus. That fucking meme. That was
Yeah,
just
that's that's primordial meme.
was Donald Duck,
Yeah.
except like badly drawn.
Yeah.
Dolan. Yeah, like I'm trying to find some similarities between like games with maybe not even necessarily RNG elements, but just like I'm putting Dark Souls next to this because there's definitely moments in that game that feel like bullshit. And some that honestly are.
Yeah.
But broadly speaking, that game's quite fair.
Dolan on Know Your Meme was added 7 years ago.
Damn. I think Doorstock is like 10 years old. I don't know, maybe your enjoyment of a given game is predicated on like how much RNG there is and how much it could feasibly impact your game. Because like I suppose at like one end of the spectrum you have something like Destiny where it's like you can't really lose.
Yeah, no, there is no fail state.
That was one of the weirdest things about playing that game. Is it's like, wait, even if I get killed, I don't really lose anything.
Yeah.
Like not even like the actual penalty for me dying is I moved like 20 yards away from the encounter.
Yep.
And I was like, How bizarre. And it's like I still think I enjoyed that game. I think I like got tired of it pretty quickly,
Yeah.
but it was fun. But yeah, there's only a few missions in Destiny that actually even have a fail state, so.
Yeah, like the one that I think of immediately is the one where you can kill the fallen captain.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like there's one mission where you are racing this fallen captain to get this MacGuffin.
Yeah.
And at the end of the mission, you encounter the fallen captain who has been like, you know, he's been locking you behind doors and you've been setting him free from traps that he's activated. And, you know, every time he kind of like runs up to you when you're trapped behind a wall and like, or trapped through a window and like bows at the camera and then runs off.
Nice.
And then at the end of the mission, you encounter him fighting a Hive Knight. And they're both low on health.
Mm-hmm.
And if you kill the Hive Knight, he drops the item for you and runs away. But if you kill them both, then you just collect the item from his body.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I am probably never going to play Getting Over It. Like I think I got a sense of what that game is up to, and I just don't really have any interest in playing it. Like, I don't think it's the kind of game. I mean, okay, if I played it on stream, I would probably ham it up and be like, "Oh my god, I'm so ragey at this game." It's like, not really. I think I would just be like, "Oh, this is actually just like really difficult to control." And I'll watch other people play it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I saw a speedrun and was like, I never need to play this game because I will never, ever, ever come anywhere close to this. Getting Over It with, what's the guy's name?
It's the, I forget the dev's name, but it is the guy who made Quap.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it looks like an actually, like, excellent game.
Mm-hmm.
Bennett Foddy.
Oh, we could have hired NGs.
Yeah, Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. Oh man. Green Jelly, or as I remembered them, Green Jello, before they got sued.
Yep.
Green Jello sucks. That was one of the streams that Ben and I were on. We just started like spitting Green Jello lyrics.
Huh.
So funny.
The bear went over the mountain to see what he could see. The other side of the mountain was all that he could see.
Have we done an episode on speedrunning? I feel like we could. I don't know how we would do that.
Yeah,
because
we're
neither
not
one of
good.
us are speedrunners.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we would be able to just like show speedruns. I think speedruns are incredibly fascinating and like a really weird microcosm of video games. Like, they really, really interest me. Especially like the really weird ones, like the Mario 64, like you know, the like half A press shit.
Yeah.
Which is not even a speedrun because it takes like 14 hours.
Yeah.
Just the weird like meta games that people play. But yeah, it's a topic we're interested in discussing, but... What about my Dark Souls Gravesword run? It's not very fast, and I'm pretty bad at it.
Huh.
I used to be able to do Blighttown Drop, but apparently that skip, I think, is obsolete now.
Really?
Yeah, and ever since somebody discovered gate skip, you actually just don't even have to ring the bells.
Oh, right, yeah, because you can just... I saw that one. That's so convoluted.
A skip that was discovered, like, what, last year, maybe the year before in Dark Souls, that allows you to skip ringing the first two bells and just go straight into Sen's Fortress. Yeah, the second boss you fight is Iron Golem. Yup. So that's a thing. Yeah, if you want to really lose your mind over like what people are doing with video games, do watch the Half an A Press, like Watch for Rolling Rocks video. It's 20 minutes long, but you will be like probably at the edge of your seat the whole time. At least I was. It comes from a like game optimization community where they try to beat levels in Super Mario 64 pressing the jump button as few times as possible. The speedrunning community is so deep into itself. They have a category for playing a game for the first time without walkthroughs or hints, with no splits or timing, or as everyone else calls it, playing a new game. They also have, they have their own terminology for this, but I found it really entertaining what speedrunning communities determine is a glitch or exploit and what is not. And there's a surprising number of things that really, really sound like cheating that they don't consider to be any sort of glitch or exploit.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, who the fuck am I to tell them that? They have their own rules.
Yep. It's probably fine.
Yep. Does a game require a goal of any kind? Interesting.
Probably
Not.
Well,
Now-
what's a game? What's a toy, right?
Well, this brings us back to Minecraft. What is the goal of Minecraft? A goal could be something that you bring to the table that the game facilitates. Like, it furnishes you with all the tools you need to achieve a number of goals. But it doesn't... Apart from furnishing you with those tools, it doesn't really oblige you to pursue any of those goals.
Ion Storm. Oh my god, their game sucked. 2, 3. We could go through the Ion Storm, we could go straight to the exit, or we can try getting more stuff.
Oh.
Let's try getting more stuff. There's no consequences, really. Let's fuck around.
Yeah. Though if you call Minecraft a digital sandbox, or a digital toy box, like, I think it still shares enough with something like Skyrim that it's like, well, that gets to be called a game.
Yeah.
This is where I think, it's just like, again, these recategorizations, arguably more accurate, arguably less useful. Like, I'm still gonna call Minecraft a game when I'm talking about it. And maybe, both things are true. It's like, yeah, it's a digital digital toy box. Also a game.
Yeah.
But I guess the question I have is just like, how useful is it to call something not a game?
Yeah, like what are you getting at?
Like how do you because you can't define something by what it isn't. Like, I'm not a turnip. And saying that doesn't tell you a fucking thing about me.
Absolutely.
So if you're like, this isn't a game, it's like, well, what is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, it's this other thing. It's like, so that
what?
sounds an awful lot, or that sounds like kind of indistinguishable from what I associate with a game being.
Oh, these poor bastards don't even have shields. Oh, it's a drone ship.
Tells you you're not a turnip. What's the most simple game?
Sounds like something a turnip would say.
Yeah, the most simple game you can think of. Ooh, that's tough.
Tag?
I think you could go simpler than that.
The game?
Is the game a game? Or is it an infuriating prank?
Yeah.
Oh my god, the game is just a fail state.
Yeah.
You just lost the game. fuck's sake. It's an intangible mimetic fail state.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh boy.
Crew the shield room instead?
The only winning move to not play. I keep trying to think of like games that I played like in childhood around the schoolyard where we didn't have access to anything. I feel like the simplest game would require no utensils apart from the players.
Oh, Lily, that's awesome. I loved your sketches last night.
Nice. Rock, paper, scissors is pretty simple. Like, that's quite simple.
Yeah.
Three options, two players. Yeah, that's pretty clean. Chubby Bunny?
Chubby Bunny.
Chubby Bunny's not a game so much as it is like... Is Chubby Bunny... No, I think it's just like... God, what's the difference between a game and a challenge?
I don't know.
Are games challenges? Are challenges games? Is a logging competition a game? Is it a challenge? Is it a sport? See, this...
Yeah, like...
all of this really just makes me think more and more that it's like a series of overlapping circles, like Venn diagrams, where there's areas where like one or more genres, or not even genres, like classifications will overlap.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is all of these things. Just masturbation again. You mean what we're doing right now? War's not a game. Are you sure that life isn't a game, Soldier 76? Listen here, you punk. Rack's plasma rifle. Of course masturbation is a game and has a fail state.
Oh, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Are we talking about Petit Moore or having your mom burst in on you?
What happens when you next level and actually get Le Grand Mort?
Wait, you actually just die of heart failure?
Yeah.
It's like... Oh, man. His last words were nut. Oh dear.
I mean, this game is really enjoyable when it doesn't bullshit you into the earth.
Interesting.
But yeah, like, I mean, I suppose the question we need to ask here is, like, what's the utility of how you define these things?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is the useful purpose of these classifications? Oh, no, God.
Are you okay?
We are okay. One of us just tried to escape, but was contained.
Yeah, like...
I could tamp that down with some more coffee.
Wow, that sounds nauseating. Yeah, I think the categorization of game is just like, it's a useful shorthand. That's how I sort of feel about it. And there's an interesting discussion to be made for like what constitutes a game or not. And historically,
Gee, which side should we take? Hostile, 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 or the one with one hostile, and then all civilians.
I was losing my train of thought. Now loading track 7. Yeah, historically, I always felt that like the sort of like game not a game discussion was more about like a person's need to be right than anything useful to say about a given thing, and that always kind of irked me.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not to say that everybody feels that way, but when the games that really caught a lot of flack about that, like Dear Esther and like Gone Home and stuff came out, I think a lot of the discussion was just like, it's not a game.
Yeah,
and not even in a useful way. It's just like, well, what is a game? It was just like, it's not a game. Because you don't win.
Like, what does that term even mean?
Yeah. So yeah, like it was a non-discussion. It was not a discussion.
Yeah.
So that's what always bugged me about it. It's like,
it's Mrs. Blakeway. It's definitely about just deciding that something has to be excluded, right?
Yeah,
rather than actually trying to have a discussion.
Yeah. It's just like, okay, we can talk about this once we agree that this thing you are invested in is illegitimate in the context of my interests. It's like, what? That's okay. Building a language is important for advancing the practice of designing games. Yep. So is the game not a game discussion gatekeeping? Well, I mean, it depends on how, like, what end of that discussion you're talking about. I think if you just get like hung up in like semantics about it, it's just kind of an exercise in futility. I feel like any sort of good faith argument or discussion is going to be valuable. I've been telling a lot of jokes throughout this broadcast, posing hypothetical questions that don't actually have answers, but there are questions that can be posed. It's an exercise in futility game. It's like, okay, we gotta put a damper on this. Yeah, I mean, like, much of the not a game discussion is not done in good faith. It's like, I'm just gonna say that, like, because of a lot of it comes from shitty gamers.
Yep.
Which is where the Venn diagrams of gamers and shitty people overlap. Anyway, FTL. So, you're enjoying playing it.
Yep.
But there might be a monkey wrench in the work further down the line.
Yep, that you will just, like, my complaint about this game was it really felt like you had relatively little control over when the game decided that you were done playing. And there are people who can just do this game very well, right?
And handle that.
Yeah,
so, like,
and that can manage, who are very good at managing the risk that they take in this game.
So I suppose it's like a subjective quality about what you feel like you can tolerate or what feels fair or unfair. Because one person could feel that this game is like perfectly, enormously fair, and another person could think that this game is complete bullshit. And I suppose from their vantage points, both of them are correct.
Yeah, because I from what I understand,
it's like, well, it's
part of
also
the appeal is that the game can, like, you don't have to spend very long playing this game. It can just end sometimes.
Yeah. Because I keep mentioning I want to be the Boshi, which is a game I think I understand. I would never want to play it myself because it's just like a lot of it is predicated on being deliberately unfair,
Mm-hmm.
but also fair on a certain level. Like, all of the jumps you can make. The game is beatable.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just the game actively tries to trick you. Like, it hits you with attacks that don't telegraph. There are, like, dead ends that, lead nowhere. Just stuff appears out of nowhere. Like, there's threats that are invisible. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, by trial and error, you figure those out. The first time, it's just kind of like, I got you! And in a sense, that's bad game design. But some people, I think, that challenge really resonates with them. It's just like, oh, I'll show you. And the catharsis of, like, beating those kind of odds that are stacked deliberately unfairly against you, I imagine, is very satisfying. Like, I saw a guy get the world record for I Want to Be the Boshi, and the look of elation he had when he finished it was incredible. Like, his hands were shaking. I was like, I can't argue with that kind of experience being available to somebody.
Yeah. Like, that's tremendous, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have other issues with the game, but that's irrelevant. It seems like a good game. And FTL similarly seems like a good game. It's well constructed. It works. Good music.
Yeah, I love the music in this game. Okay, we vented the fire to space.
Hooray.
Now we've got to fix our shields, which got exploded. Became exploded. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe this experience is a lot like my experience with Dark Souls, right? When you fight Capra Demon.
And you're just like, this is bullshit, this is awful.
Yeah.
Fuck this game. I won!
Yeah, or much more, granular experience, something very similar in Portal, where you spend the entire experience of playing Portal is being like, this is fucking broken. There's something wrong with the map. I don't know. It's bugged. I don't know. Oh, okay. Next map. I don't know. It's bugged or something. Like, it's broken. Maybe there's a patch that didn't. Oh,
I hate that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Very good. Rogues can be defined as the thrill of gambling without the consequence of losing. Interesting. Because you do have an element of risk there. This sort of reminds me a little bit of the end of Nier Automata. Because one of the few things that I think gamers truly value in the context of playing a game is their save file. Like, the representation of their investment of time. And when that game asks you if you want to sacrifice that for a tiny return to an anonymous person, that is a profound ask. And it was really exciting to do that. And I suppose in a way that's where roguelike works, where it's like your save file, your progress, your data is always in jeopardy. And you can lose it just like that. And that's exciting. The risk of really genuine loss is a difficult thing to replicate in video games because they are completely safe. Video games are completely safe experiences in the same way that, like, horror movies and so forth are completely safe. And so like, engineering an actual sensation of exhilaration is a challenging ask. It's like, how do you make somebody excited if they're never going to leave their chair?
I forgot. One of the only signs that you get in a situation like this is if there's a fire on your ship is when your oxygen starts to tick down.
Oh, jeez. Is PUBG a roguelike?
Yeah, you can definitely get bullshit.
There's
like you can get dirted out on some maps quite easily, right?
there's RNG elements. I don't think it's a roguelike because the map is fixed every time.
Yeah. Is there any benefit to talking about the roguelike elements in it?
There is that.
Like player distribution, loot distribution, zone distribution.
Although it's interesting because the player distribution is not random. It's semi-random.
Yeah.
Because the flyover direction is random. And then player agency determines the initial position of all the players.
Yeah.
Then the loot is random. Again, semi-random. Because it populates more densely in certain areas than others, and that influences the player's choices on where to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that... Dang. Yeah, like... I wouldn't call it a roguelike, because there's certain things that I associate with it. Like, it has an RNG aspect to it. To me, what constitutes a roguelike is, like, a procedurally generated map and RNG stuff and permadeath. But that's just, like, I think a rule of thumb. There's plenty of games that eschew one or more of those.
Yeah.
A roguish. Maybe a roguelite. A dashing rogue. If the map being fixed in PUBG makes it not a roguelike, does using the architecting rogue legacy stop it from being roguelike? For one playthrough, I think. But that's an exception, not a rule, right? The architect, if I remember correctly, fixes the map position for one playthrough?
Okay.
Unless does it fix it permanently? This is starting to sound like finding ways to call things roguelikes.
I mean,
yes.
Part of what we're doing here is like talking about what a roguelike is, and if they're like, because these are not hard borders, right?
Yeah.
These are not impermeable. Roguelike elements are present in many games once you understand what constitutes roguelike elements.
Yeah, it's like you could go by the like rigid definition. It was like, how much like the game Rogue is it? Yeah, I mean it's the same as the discussion we've been having about like what even a game is. It's like, what's a roguelike? Well, there's certain things that like many of them have and some of them don't. Rogue inspired. Well, that's what roguelike means. The phrase roguelike means rogue inspired.
Yeah.
Also rolls off the tongue more easily. What does tilting at Moulin mean? Tilting at Moulin Rouges? I don't know what that means.
Tilting at windmills.
Oh, okay. Oregon Trail isn't a roguelike. Oregon Trail is a despair simulator. Interesting. Where is it going with this? Nope. Yeah, I mean, like, video games, they have all of these, like, genres and subgenres and, like, hybrid genres and stuff. And I think it's probably just getting, like, harder to really clearly put something in a box at all. It's just like... And I feel like a new genre is established once, like, a game takes a bunch of existing stuff and makes it work in a new way that feels fresh. Because, like, PUBG doesn't have anything new in it.
Yeah.
It just utilizes a bunch of stuff that was already in games in a particular context that creates a certain type of experience. And now it has, like, now there's probably going to be, like, there's a string of imitators. I don't know if they're going to be called PUBG likes or something, but like that, like the, what's the name of it? Is it King of the Hill or?
Battle Royale.
Yeah, the Battle Royale game mode, like Battle Royale style games, in the same way that like MOBA games exist, where it's just like, the idea of a third-person shooter is nothing new. The idea of randomly distributed loot is not new. The idea of a huge map, not new. Multiplayer, not new. But you put those all together in a particular way, and suddenly you get this like weird new experience that's like you remember when we all first heard about PUBG, we're like, this looks like a generic shitty military shooter.
Yeah, but it
was like explosively popular.
Hella fun game.
And then we ended up really playing a lot of it. It was like, oh, I get it now. So, yeah, it rearranged it. You know, it's like the idea that's like there's nothing new under the sun, but like once you arrange a bunch of elements in a certain way that works together, it's a heck of a thing. Unknown person's frank exchange of bullets. Yeah. And I mean, people are doing those sort of experiments to varying degrees of success all the time. It's just like, you know, and some of them get a little bit of notoriety, some of them go completely under the radar. It's like something like Sanctum or Sanctum 2, which is like, what if we took tower defense and made it an FPS as well? You know, we just took like two distinct, you know, known genres and just...
Yeah.
And it worked. It wasn't like insane popular, but, you know, they made a sequel.
Jesus Christ.
Oh dear. Look at this a-hole. Should we run?
Maybe.
I think we're getting shittered on.
We're fine. The auto dock is on fire, but that's normal. That's normal. That's normal.
Oh, rip.
Okay. Well, this game was fun.
Womp womp. And maybe it's time to leave. We did!
Yeah.
We left that timeline. That was the timeline in which we fucked up. Oh man, how cool would a iterating timeline roguelike be? Where it's like every time you lose, you reload from the timeline where you didn't lose.
Ooh.
I don't know how you would do that, but the idea of just like, it's a series of branching pathways, and you never backtrack.
That's quite strong.
I have no idea how you would implement that. But the idea is kind of interesting. It's any game with saves. Kind of? But, I mean, my idea would be that, like, a save game, like, you save, and then you play a thing, and then you lose, and then you go back to that save. The idea would be that, like, you play, you advance a little further into the game, you lose, and then from that point where that decision occurred that caused you to lose, you would continue somehow. I don't know how, like I said.
It hit our ability to open our doors.
Well, how do you like them apples? Isn't that just... Is it Bioshock Infinite's explanation of respawns? Was it?
Is it? Possibly.
The, like, Vita chamber?
We can't move now. Oh, right. We don't have auto fire turned on. Cool.
Womp womp. Oh, Bioshock Infinite, where Elizabeth pulls you back into reality.
Oh, okay.
Is that just like, oh, Booker really actually died. Let me find a Booker that didn't die in a different timeline.
Oh, yeah. I remember hearing that.
That's distressing. She just never tells you.
Alarming.
Just like, oh, geez, Elizabeth, how many times have I died today? Booker, you don't need to worry about that. You're fine. You're exactly the same as you were. Maybe you got a dose of clap in this reality, but he'll get over it. Well, how do you figure that? It's like, because you're going to take a shotgun blast to the torso later, and then I'm going to pull a version of you that isn't such a fucking baby out of the next reality.
Liz and Bookie.
Listen, Bookie.
Yeah,
I'm
really
glad I finally made that comic
it was so
too.
good. Yeah.
If anybody has the link to what I'm talking about, I was very pleased with how that turned out.
Am I your original Booker?
It's like, well, you're not very funny if that's what you're asking.
We have fun here.
We do, and we should probably take our second break. 'Cause
Ooh,
it's 8.
yeah.
Do we play VNs on this show? No. I don't actually think I've ever played a VN.
Visual novel?
Yeah, visual novel. Now,
No.
I actually need this clarified for me. A visual novel is entirely linear, if I'm to understand it. Or is it a choose-your-own-adventure? Because I know a dating sim can have different results depending on what flags you trip.
Huh.
But I was under the impression that a visual novel is always linear? Not entirely
Maybe.
linear, and not all of them? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I know very little about visual novels. Kinetic novels are linear, visual novels...
All right. Well, shall we
Yeah, interesting.
shall we take a break then?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Yo, we're back. Continuing to experience life and death and death
And death and death and death and death.
Also
and
death.
Yeah.
On easy mode.
Yep.
Have I mentioned we're on easy mode? Mm-hmm. Welp.
You ever played Teleglitch?
I don't believe I have.
I'm fairly sure it's another roguelike. I played a little bit of it and I quite liked it, but it was super hard. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. I think I really like roguelikes and I'm shit at them.
Yeah.
Which is a very frustrating state for me, and an interesting conundrum that I only really encounter with video games. Which is itself a very interesting discussion, because it's like you can't really be bad at reading a book or watching a movie, but some games do require of you a skill investment.
Right.
To fully appreciate the experience they have to offer, and not every player is capable of that skill investment, and not every player is willing to make that skill investment. And unfortunately, like I kind of can't or won't. A lot of the time, something has to be really quite compelling in order for me to invest the time required to like get good.
Yeah,
to get
absolutely.
Like, in some ways, it has to either like intrigue me enough that I want to get to that level, or just be like really fun right out of the box. like I've been playing a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, and I've invested a lot of time into playing and learning that game because the day-to-day gameplay has been very good. Also, I'm making a big assumption there on like ability. Obviously, there are factors in people's lives that can make what one person finds trivial very challenging indeed.
Absolutely.
I sure do understand that. Someday I'll get back to reading books. But broadly speaking, it's like it. Oh, sweet. Broadly speaking, like video games, unlike a lot of other media, I think that they at least have like an unusual skill requirement, or are capable of having a much higher skill ceiling, which is really interesting. Because like, if you're literate, broadly speaking, you'll be able to read a book and get something out of it.
Right.
You know, there's like that bar to hit, and you know, there's questions about, you know, like knowledge of, I don't know, so like philosophy or like context and stuff like that, and just being able to read subtext and that sort of thing. But like, video games have a very direct kind of like, I guess it's to say impediment. It's like, because you could read a book and be like, oh, this is pretty good, and then read it like 10 years later and get something entirely new out of it. You could play a game and never fucking finish it.
Yeah.
And just not be able to, and never experience a lot of what it has to offer because it's just like, you find it too hard. And I like hard games. I sometimes make the case that some games could stand to be easier.
Yeah.
But other games, I think, kind of have to be as hard as they are.
Well, yeah, and some games are only as hard as they are due to questionable design decisions,
Yeah, so-
not a deliberate attempt to be difficult.
Yeah, well, it's just like there's hard and then there's challenging. There's like something that's badly designed, which makes it like just obtuse to play.
Yeah.
And then there's something that's like really very carefully engineered to test you, and to really like make you focus on it. And like that's why Dark Souls gets its reputation. I think that game would be worse with an easy mode.
Do you?
Maybe? Like,
I'm
although-
not convinced.
Maybe not. Maybe worse is not the right word. And it's not like you couldn't go and play it on its like recommended difficulty level. But in some ways, like, just there not being an option to walk your way through it is intriguing.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like, are you denying certain people the ability to experience that? Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
It's like maybe, you know, I don't know how to describe this.
I mean, I would say that an easy mode would allow more people to access. I love to talk with people about stories and experiences that I've had. And a lot of people bounce hard. A lot of people whose opinions I would love to have,
Yeah.
and who I think would actually really enjoy a lot of elements of Dark Souls, bounce hard off of it because of its difficulty and its reputation.
And that's unfortunate, you know, because it's like, oh man, I really wish they could like it. And it's not like you can make them like it.
No.
Well, I mean, you just tell them to get good, and then they bounce off it even harder.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, like, it's horse, water, etc. Like, I think I've, for a while, made a personal, not a crusade, but like a personal job to try to ease people into the game as well as I could. But ultimately, like, Dark Souls has a fixed difficulty, more or less. Like, there's some ways you can play it and some ways you can build your character that make it easier or more difficult, but it's just there.
Yeah.
And if you can navigate it, you get that experience. And, like, the experience of overcoming those challenges is, I think, a quintessential part of the experience. Not the entire experience. So I don't know, maybe we're talking about different aspects of the game that you get something out of. Like, the story and the lore and the atmosphere of the game is one thing, and then the actual, like, surmounting these like incredible challenges that really, really tax your ability is another thing. But maybe the two are connected.
I mean, that does seem...
Because the game is about, like, triumphing through this, like, hellish landscape. And, I don't know, would the reveal of an Orlando have as much impact if you hadn't fought so fucking hard to get there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think...
Getting up through Sen's Fortress, facing the Iron Golem, and finally getting to that, like, magnificent vista.
Yeah.
Would it have as much impact if you hadn't fought that hard?
I mean, are we getting into, like, an argument of the... Like, is there a logic to saying that would that reveal be even better if the game was even harder?
And is there a law of diminishing returns?
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you make it too hard, nobody gets to see it at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I'm not someone else. Does one need to suffer to feel joy? Certain types of joy, I think, are facilitated by overcoming challenges or, like, enduring pain. Like, joy is a pretty broad category. Like, the type of joy or satisfaction I get out of Dark Souls is quite different from the joy or satisfaction I get out of eating banana or, like, coconut cream pie. You know? It's not super hard to get one of those pies. And I really like it. But yeah, like, certain types of experiences, I think, kind of do require that. That there's not really... I don't really think there's a way around it.
Yeah. So, let's try a hostile area.
Yeah, like, I don't know if anybody's been watching Adam try to S-rank the Cuphead bosses. Where it's like, he's making it more difficult for himself, and it takes a lot of tries and it's very frustrating to him, but when he finishes it, that experience is not something that he would have had were it not for the journey to that point.
But that's a choice he gets to make.
But yeah, that's a choice he... yeah, I suppose that... Yeah, that's a choice he gets to make. And there's... yeah.
Did you see that dialogue?
I did not. What did it say?
A pirate ship flies close to you and says, "Hey, it's a shiny ship you got there. Be a shame if anything happens to it." And you fire a warning shot across their bow and they're like, hey, it was just a joke.
That's really funny.
I was just a comment.
Yeah.
I was just a comment.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I suppose it's also like, how much value do you put on, like, doing something the first time in a game? Because many games sort of, like, hang their, not their reputation, but their, like, longevity on the ability to play it over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, if hypothetically an easy mode existed for Dark Souls, and you played through the whole thing, and then we're just like, oh, okay, let's play it the way it was intended. And that same journey to get to Anne Orlando had that amount of challenge, as contrasted against how easy it was the first time. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's one thing I can say about Dark Souls is that like it has a singularity of vision, and I think the choice to make it exactly as hard as it is part of that vision.
Yeah, like the Dark Souls difficulty is part of its...
It's part of its identity, and it's part of like the decisions that led to it being the legend that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we could also like...
Just barreling in here to say, the overwhelming difficulty of Dark Souls represents the struggle that your character has to go through and how totally fucked the world is. Even I know this, and I don't even play the game.
Fair.
That's why it's hard.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be an overwhelming challenge. That's why it's so amazing that you get the thing done.
Yeah, fair.
It's about struggle.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe the discussion is moot because like there's never going to be an easy mode for Dark Souls
Yeah.
unless you mod it in, and then that's like an entirely different discussion. Conversely, I have similarly strong feelings about games where this is a thing that I used to hate a lot in like games in the like late 90s, early 2000s, where you only got the true ending if you beat the game on the hardest difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
And that was weird to me because I felt like the person who cares the most about the story is denied that.
Yeah.
That seems stupid. You know what I mean? Just like the person who is invested the most in the gameplay maybe is the only one who gets to see that. Although, you know, branching off this discussion that we had earlier, it's like maybe it means that they really wanted the person who was like invested enough to actually like go the extra mile get to have that experience. It was... Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm reaching a lot of conclusions with the question of game difficulty. There's like obviously a lot of thoughts I have about it.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one to answer. It's like, how much are you enjoying playing this game at easy, and would you enjoy it more on hard?
I'm enjoying it a lot on easy.
Or would you only enjoy it more on hard if you had mastered it more on easy and were able to approach the game on hard in a way that you could complete it and get the additional satisfaction of beating it on a harder level?
I think so, yeah. As long as I know that, like, okay, my personal issue with playing games on easy mode, and this is not something I apply to anyone else, and this is just something that is a very personal hang-up of mine, is that I don't want to learn bad habits.
Ooh, that's, yeah.
Right? I remember reading an article when I was really young about flight sims.
Yep.
About why you wanted to play flight sims on hard mode.
Uh-huh.
Because on easy mode, typically, the physics engine is so relaxed that you can do all kinds of shit that will train you to do things that will get you killed on harder levels if you ever want to do
Do you
them.
know what we're talking about? Difficulty levels are not made... They're not made equal. Because the axis of difficulty is along so many different attributes. Like, think about in first-person games, it's just like on an easy mode, you can have more auto-aim.
Yeah.
Which means that you're not learning the skill required to aim as much.
Yeah.
You know, enemies could have more health, less health, you know, deal more damage, deal less damage, which in some ways just like, there's a lot of ways you can increase or decrease difficulty. And I think that what you're saying is like absolutely correct. Whereas like if
Yeah.
an easy difficulty is maybe a different kind of experience.
Yeah. No, what we're talking about here is absolutely an aspect of difficulty because it's reflected in difficulty. In the particular games that I'm talking about, it is absolutely reflected in the difficulty that you select when you play the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, like how forgiving a game is, like, lets you kind of play looser, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's like we were playing Terrorist Hunt on either easy or normal, which is another word for easy in this game. And in our team, it was really hard to team kill one another. Mm-hmm. Like, we just weirdly had way more health or just dealt less damage to one another. There was still friendly fire, but in a real game, you can accidentally kill your teammates quite easily.
Yeah.
And you could learn that bad habit by playing it on that mode.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. Game difficulty is like another one of these like really complicated discussions. Right? Because like you're sort of, I almost wonder if you're balancing accessibility versus experience, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, then again, I'm also not here to tell anyone like what experience they should get out of the game.
Yeah.
That whole thing where we got a quest to escort someone somewhere,
Yep.
reminds me a lot of an old game called Escape Velocity.
Yeah.
That was only available on Mac, and I played it a lot at my friend's house, my best friend in high school who had a Mac.
Yep.
And it was a game where it was just like a top-down map of various star systems, and you started off with a shuttlecraft. You could take jobs and go places and then buy different ships, and you could buy like a freighter, or you could buy a warship, and then upgrade it with different things, and there was no end game.
Huh.
But I guess it was a permadeath game.
Interesting.
Because you could die if your ship was shot down. Eevee was amazing.
Damn.
Is Eevee still around? There's a Windows version of it?
Uh-oh. I think I know what we're doing.
Optional permadeath.
Okay. How do you feel about the difficulty settings in XCOM, and what's the difference?
XCOM's difficulty settings have various effects. On the difficulty level that I play the game, your soldiers have lower health, and the aliens have more health.
So this is a high difficulty.
Yes, this is impossible or legendary.
Right.
It also has true RNG.
Okay.
On lower difficulties, the RNG is not
completely random.
It will give you better. It will still make the random rolls. At least this is what I've heard from people.
So the
crunching it.
DM will fudge it.
Yeah, the game will fudge it to like if you miss with a high percentage attack, the game will give you a better roll next time. Because
Wow.
it won't let you chain failure after failure after failure.
Interesting.
Right.
RNG weighted.
It becomes slightly weighted on the lower difficulties.
Interesting.
So yeah, yeah, I mean, a lot of people here will have watched me play XCOM.
Yep.
And there are times where you get a mission where your odds of success are not good.
Yeah.
Right? Where you have to keep trying different things.
Put your helmet on, rookie.
Yep.
Because chaining failures feel bad and games are for fun. Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think that all games had to be fun in order to be considered games. I've since revised my opinion. I think that they all need to give you an experience of some kind. because I realize that's like saying all books have to be fun,
Yeah.
or all movies have to be fun,
Yeah.
or all music has to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sometimes you want to listen to sad music,
Yeah.
or watch a deeply absorbing movie, or read a scary book. And these are
Absolutely.
all different and valid experiences. I
Breach
think
missiles require so much power. We're not going to be able to use those for a while.
video games historically have come from a fun-based background because like their roots are in like pure entertainment. And we'll never escape that, and nor should we, but they've evolved beyond that requirement, I think, and are able to accomplish a lot of different things. Yeah, you've read books that are profoundly uncomfortable and painful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, well, why would you read that? Because it was profoundly absorbing and interesting and gave me new perspective.
Yep. I would actually love to hear about that, GHGH66. I mean, because I don't know how to play this game, and I would love to know if I'm evolving towards a winning strategy or if I'm making
Just like barreling down the path of least
or
resistance.
if I'm making compounding mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like do you want to watch Totoro or Grave of the Fireflies? Like that's a great thing. So it's like I do look forward to the day when the distribution is more like that. And I think that games are always going to be slanted towards fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's ever going away. But I would like to see their palette be broadened to all types of human experience, and for all of those experiences to be valid, and for us to stop saying that games that aren't fun are not fucking games.
Yeah.
Please and thank you, because it's not useful. Wait, we're getting jacked? Are those borders?
Yep, those
Fuck
are
'em.
borders.
Get them! Games will be tilted to what makes money. Yeah, I mean, that's probably more accurate. If, like, sad games come into vogue, we'll probably see a lot of them. If, like, I don't know, mystery games come into vogue, we'll see a lot of that shit.
Yep.
But I just think overall, they're probably, like, I mean, it's the same as most other genres. Like, the stuff that tends to, like, do the best is, like, entertaining, fun, explodey shit.
Mm-hmm.
Transformers is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You know, the games where the most shit blows up and, you know, the universes at stake are the ones that are going to see a lot of success and just keep getting made. Just fine. Totoro and Grave of the Fireflies were originally released as a double feature. I don't believe you. I don't want to believe you. More Bayonetta. That's fucked. It's like, oh my god, I'm so happy. Everything is great. No, childhood is ruined and destroyed and everything's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, which one did you watch first? I would lead with Graveyard of the Fireflies and finish with Totoro. If you did it the other way around, you would just never not leave your house for a month.
Yeah.
And you just like cry ugly, salty tears into your toilet.
Why?
Why did they have to die? Goal is to use Totoro's levity. Man, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Just occurred to me, I have never seen that film translated.
Huh.
Because when I first saw it, it was on Laserdisc, as a Japanese import.
Wow.
That's how fucking OG I am. Watching all the old Miyazaki movies on LD. Ask me about my nerd cred. I was actually just thinking about Bubblegum Crisis today and how it has like lots of really amazing body horror.
Yeah.
It's grotesque.
Yeah. What happens with all
I
the...
should not have seen that shit when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, we can say that about a lot of shows, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I saw a lot of stuff way too early, like Akira, Alien, Bubblegum Crisis.
I read the novelization of Alien when I was like 8 or 9. I found it on my dad's shelf, right? And I was like, I'll read this book. And my parents were like,
Uh-oh.
what'd you do? Hey, so, you read a scary book. And I'm like, uh-huh. And they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah.
The man exploded!
Why?
I definitely agree about the original voice track. I actually did a video about that exact topic. I have real strong opinions about sub versus dub, but I did a clip of the dub versus sub version of Laputa, otherwise known as Castle in the Sky.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a video called, actually, you know what, let me find it. This is all I have to say about the sub versus dub conundrum. Or if I can find it.
Nah.
Richard E. Grant has a bad morning. I gotta remember where the fuck I saved this. Where did I upload this to? Is it just like unlinked?
Yeah, all right.
It might be unlisted. Oh well. Maybe I'll just find it some other time. Anyway, it was just like, the sub was so fucking awful.
Oh.
And to just briefly summarize, because like I don't want to derail the whole stream, my feeling on like subs versus dubs is that the...
Okay, what is evasion? I'm sorry here.
Yeah.
I need to ask, what did... I always thought it was dodge, but it's not dodge, it's evasion, which is a different thing.
I don't know. Yeah, so to me, subs versus dubs is a matter... It's a matter of like artistic fidelity, because the director and crew and artists and actors and actresses like all got together to create that thing. And if you replace a piece of that thing, it's not the same thing anymore. It's like if you rescored the movie with like different music, or if you redid the visuals, or like somehow arted in different actors. That's how I feel about dubbing, where it's like,
Fair.
maybe, that having been said, subtitles, many people find them distracting, so that's a legitimate reason for, you know, you to prefer dubs. But for myself, I can't stand them. Like, no matter how good they are, it's not the original performance, that the director said, yeah, that's the one. That's the one that gets across what I'm trying to do. You know, they can make the effort to replicate it as closely as possible, but it won't be the same.
That's fair.
And yeah, so that's my thought.
You give up piracy. I don't ever want to see you again.
Shows up at the end of the game with like a railgun. There's also like the aspect of translating it. Ultimately, like the ultimate way to enjoy something is to like not have subs at all and just learn the language. But we're talking about different levels of accessibility.
All according to Keihoku.
All according to Keikaku.
Keikaku, whatever.
Keikaku means plan.
How embarrassing. ProZD had a great little video where he's like, the difference between fan subs and official subs.
Oh god!
No, official dubs and fan
Fucking-
subs. Fan dubs. And it's just like, you know, the official one is very like clean.
Yeah.
And the fan one is just like, every second word is fucking. And
God.
then large swaths of it are not translated with huge, like, bricks of text.
Fan subs are sometimes just fucking god awful. Like, because it's done by kids who want to be edgy. So yeah, they put the word fuck in all the time, even when it's not actually what they said. Or they'll just like add. I've seen people put in like fucking memes and shit. But yeah, the most egregious one is when they just literally don't translate stuff.
Yeah.
Like stuff that has a translation. Like that's where the whole like Keikaku means plan thing comes from. Like there's some stuff that doesn't actually translate. Like I don't mind saying like so and so san because like it's an honorific. It doesn't really translate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean subs are ultimately like an imperfect solution that I still feel is better than the imperfect solution that dubs are. There's a really weird thing. I said I wasn't going to derail stuff, but like, now I'm thinking about this. There's a weird little translation thing in the fan translation of Blame.
Yeah.
And I think Biomega, it's Toha Heavy Industries. In the official, like, the most recent release, it's Toa.
Oh, really?
TOA. But it goes back and forth. And
If I jump here, do I have time to jump back before they... Because when I jump here, they'll be here next.
I don't know.
Let's try it.
I think I may have actually messaged Nihei on Twitter. I was like, is it Toha or Toa? And I think he said Toa, and I was like, damn it.
I need to get those Blame books.
Would you like to inherit my old ones?
I kind of want the new ones because the new ones are just like
They're
so much
they're
nicer.
so sexy.
And like
The reprints are fucking... yeah.
Like there's another comic I want to pick up, which is the 30th anniversary reissue of Dark Horse's Aliens comic.
Ooh.
Because they've done one for like the first 3 series, and they're like these like hardcover versions, and the gilding on the edge of the pages is in black.
Do you know what I'm really hoping for? Even if the Battle Angel Alita movie is terrible, I'm really crossing my fingers that they do reprints of the manga in a bigger format, because that would make all be forgiven. I'm still gonna go see it. Maybe it'll be good. Rodriguez is a good director.
Yep. Yeah.
The eyes are weird, but maybe it'll be cool.
Yeah.
I want it to be good. I'm like braced for it to not be good. But if they do reprints of that fucking comic in like any format, or even just like a bigger format, I will be so stoked.
Yeah. I want it to be good, right?
So do I. But yeah, it's like I'm really tempering my expectations. I'm also shocked that movie is getting made. But here we are.
Let's go to Rebel Controlled.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my expectation low, and then if it's like surpassed, then that'll be sweet. I'm really more just wondering what they're going to do better than the anime, because it looks like they're doing the same arc.
Yeah.
If you know nothing about the source material, I very strongly recommend the first series. I have a lot of problems with Last Order, which is the second series, but Battle Angel Alita, the first set of books, is really good. And they did an OVA of it that's pretty good. Warning for dog gore.
Yeah.
That was kind of the one part I didn't care for.
Yeah, that was surprising.
I was like, why? Come on, 80s anime. Do you gotta?
Yes.
Anyway, segue from space anime back to FTL. Right, the thing we're talking about. Okay. Do we want to start working our way towards a so what about this game?
Yeah.
This game specifically, or roguelikes?
We should do that, shouldn't we?
Because we had a bunch of discussions. We went really off the rails in an interesting way. Like, I think everything we talked about was
relevant.
Was intriguing and relevant.
Yeah.
So things we touched on include difficulty, maybe like impermanence.
The
collate thoughts.
collate thoughts. Why do I like this game? Why don't I like this game all the time?
Because that's the really fun part, is when there's a thing that you both like and dislike.
Yep. I like this game because I enjoy the aesthetic of it. I like the decision trees that it forces on you. I like the music a lot. I like it. I like how it looks. I enjoy when it goes well. I don't like getting bullshitted into the ground.
Yeah.
But like, I
wonder, like, is there a discussion to be made for like deal breakers?
yeah. When
experience
does
is
a
like,
game like
how-
cross a line that you don't, where you find it no longer enjoyable?
I bet you anything it's a balancing act, and it's the same one that we go through with movies when we talk about them, where the amount of like stuff you like presented is a quantity, and the stuff you don't like is another quantity. And if they balance out in one direction or the other, I think that
Yeah.
sort of forms your overall opinion. And so, like, you have a lot of shit you like about this, but maybe the like weight of getting dirted is just enough to be like, I can't.
Yeah, well, that's where I was for a long time with this game. Where
Yeah, I mean,
I just
who
like
knows?
I put it down for literally years because I think I got really far in one playthrough, and then just like it just held me down and fed me shots,
Yeah.
right?
But yeah, like there, and there's many different aspects along which you can measure both of those things, because like, you know, a lot of them are subjective, and some of them are actually like contradictory, like as compared to other people, right? Like what an attribute that one person loves, another person is going to hate, the exact same feature.
Yeah.
So, for the individual player, a given experience is going to be that sort of balancing act between stuff you like and stuff you hate. And then, unfortunately, most people will declare that it is one or the other,
Yeah.
with the other half of the equation missing. But that's where criticism comes in.
Absolutely.
I feel that okay, maybe this is like a useful metaphor for criticism, is that like the way you feel about a thing is like a set of scales that's maybe tipped in one direction or another. Criticism is pointing out both halves of the scale,
Yeah.
and just being opinionated is focusing on one or the other. It's be like, this game's shit because of all these things, and I'm just not going to talk about the good qualities.
Well, I think
or like, this game's flawless, but we're not going to talk about the bad stuff.
I think criticism is also like inherently kind of introspective, because when you talk about what you like and what you don't like, you're kind of by necessity mapping out a bit of yourself. right? What you find intolerable, what you find attractive, right?
And I suppose especially on the internet where that sometimes falls down is when people like identify really closely with their interests, and criticism of those interests is taken as a personal attack.
Yeah.
Which is really frustrating when you're trying to just discuss something, and
Yep.
people get up your ass about coming down on a thing they really like, because it's like, I am not criticizing you.
Yep.
But it's like, but I liked this thing and you don't like it, so like it drives me around the bend.
Yep.
It's like, please have the perspective to understand that we are discussing a piece of fiction or, you know, something. Right? Never forget people who freak out over 9 out of 10 ratings.
Yep.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why Steam reviews are like not that useful, because people will rate it 10 or 1.
Yeah.
10 or 1.
Yep.
It's completely binary. Why the fuck are there other numbers? There's a handful of people who will put it somewhere in the middle. But by and large, people will think in binary terms, and they will rate it in binary terms. So I guess it sort of averages out over a huge amount of numbers, but it's really annoying that, like, so few people have that kind of nuance.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, no, it's perfect or it's shit. No!
No, yeah, things can be a mixture of things you like and dislike, right?
Yeah.
In fact, almost everything is.
Yeah, people DDoSed Jim when he gave Zelda 7 out of 10. Gamers sometimes make me really embarrassed to be part of this
where you can't
disinterest group.
You can't even say you dislike something because you're accused of just dunking on it. Right?
Like that's really like that is one of the most odious parts about like the what's the word I'm looking for? The gaming, not genre, the gaming form. Discourse, yeah. Like I think that's horrendous. That it's just like you're not allowed to say, you know, what you think about a thing without like getting set on fire because people like hang their identity on a thing that they like. Sphere, oeuvre, whatever. So.
All right.
Anyway.
But yeah, like we came back to talk about this because I mean. I remembered why I wanted to play this game a lot.
Yeah, and those aspects are still there.
Yeah, because I enjoyed playing this game, and I think that's what made me pissed off about it.
Yeah, I find that a lot too sometimes. Like, if I find a bunch of stuff that I really, really like, and there's some sort of deal breaker, it exaggerates how much the bad qualities are, because it's like, I feel like I'm being prevented from enjoying those nice things because they're not... You can't separate them.
Yeah.
It's a whole package, and it's just like, this would be so good if it weren't for this fucking thing. And you're just like, God damn it. Why can't I have nice things?
Yep.
Yeah, close to perfection hurts so much. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we bought a crew person.
Hey.
Why did we do that?
Yeah.
Whoops.
I think numerical rating systems are reductive and not useful.
Agreed. What do we even use this person for?
Yeah, I actually think it might be worse than useless now, with brigading being what it is. You can't even trust aggregates.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna say it, games rating systems are absolutely worthless now. They are in no way an indication of the quality of anything. Because if someone decides they don't like the dev or someone who worked on it or something, they will brigade your game, tank your ratings. That has nothing to do with the game at all.
Yep.
And will affect, you know, your sales and your livelihood and all this other shit. And it's just like, it doesn't mean anything. It's like become this dumbass political game. Which is real fucking frustrating. So I think I'm left with assessing games the way I always did, which is I watch gameplay. I watch how the game runs and how people play it, and then I make my decisions whether to give it a shot based on that. I mean, yeah, I suppose games rating systems have always been useless. They're extra useless now.
Oh wait, we can put them in like secondary systems like sensors? Will it power up the sensors? Holy shit.
Right.
Oh wow. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I think this all just comes back to people's desire to put things in boxes.
Mm-hmm.
We like sorting and contextualizing things, and a lot of times that's useful, but then when we start fights over it, that's how we get into trouble.
Yep.
We really get into trouble when we start arguing over what boxes people should go into.
Hmm.
But anyway, you think you're gonna play this some more?
Yeah, I'll probably throw it on. I mean, like, it's like 20 megs, so it doesn't take up much space on my SSD.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been using PUBG for this kind of experience recently.
Mm-hmm. Just to like...
Yeah, where you can hop on for 20 minutes and then just die and the game is over. So maybe this can act as a palate cleanser for me.
Yeah,
I'm glad
maybe.
I came back to it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot more than I remember liking it, but maybe that's just because like I'm playing it on easy mode and I don't have any particular...
Could be. Does this mean I'm gonna have to play...
I don't have anything to prove.
Does this mean I'm gonna have to play Sunless Sea again?
Maybe.
Or maybe...
I didn't like Sunless Sea because I didn't like its aesthetic. Or its aesthetic.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually talking about this as a thing to do on Talking Simulator, to revisit a bunch of games that we didn't like, to have meaningful discussions, and maybe find some new revelations about it. Like, maybe next time we should play, what's that puzzle game that I hated so much? Antechamber.
Oh, yeah.
I hated that game. I really, really despised it. But I think that there is probably an interesting discussion to be said there, because I think it's a good game.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's a good game that I hated.
Fair.
That's an opinion I can have.
It is.
It's maybe one of my favorite opinions. Well...
Thanks, I hate this.
Thanks, I hate this! Thanks, I hate this! Yeah, I really, really hated that game. But we'll get to it. Yeah, maybe we will just do it next time. The short version is I found it too obtuse. I did not know what it expected of me. And so, like, the requirements I have of any puzzle game are, like, you have to make abundantly clear what the objective is and what tools I have to achieve that objective. And I felt that neither were there. I was like, what do you want me to do? Like, I literally have no idea what I'm supposed to do. And, you know, I got a lot of cutesy responses being like, well, look at it from a different perspective. It's like
okay.
Thanks. Anyway, but yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll hit a couple of games that we disliked and have a discussion about that.
Yeah, I think that might be fertile.
Let's ostensibly put...
Yeah, let's pencil that one in.
Yeah, and if I don't know if it'll fill a full 3 hours. Maybe we can get some other puzzle games in there. Because I think maybe just like approaching my distaste for puzzle games would be an interesting discussion.
I mean,
because like I don't like them for a reason. Because it's like and I don't dislike all of them either. Yeah, we could maybe do Antechamber and Ether 1 or something.
Okay.
Fuck, I hated Ether 1. That was so bad.
Oh, really?
That's the game where you have to take a glass jar and put it in a hydraulic press to get shards of glass to cut a hose.
Okay.
That is the point at which I quit that game.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Which is a shame, because it was a really promising premise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mind travel into the landscape of dementia patients to help them, like, heal or something. But it's like, puzzles!
Yeah, must have
Here's some puzzles! Hey!
Yeah.
Figure out what the devs were trying to think.
Yep.
It
That was like the worst quiz night I ever went to, like pub quiz.
Yeah.
Where the category was something like, basically like, I forget what it was exactly, but it was basically like Bilbo Baggins tier bullshit riddles.
Yeah.
And it was like, there's no objectively, like, this is not trivia. This is tell the guy running the quiz what he wants to hear. Right? What he's thinking of.
Yeah. Paradoxically, just before we finish up here and do subs.
Holy crap! A weapon is just floating here in space.
Nice. Yeah, paradoxically, I really hate bullshit puzzle games. I love escape rooms. Which kind of have the same bullshit puzzles. Right? But maybe it's because the goal is really clear. And the fact that they are puzzles for the sake of being puzzles is also similarly clear.
Yeah.
Like, there's no contrivance other than, like, it's a room full of puzzles, try to get out.
Yeah.
It's like when I played Parasite Eve 2, and you go to a secret underground base, and the locked door to the secret underground base is a fucking sliding block puzzle. It's like, no one would design it this way.
Yep.
It's just like, I'm signing up to work for this secret government agency. It's just like, hey, how good are you at sliding block puzzles?
Not.
Oh, next.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's do subs.
Let's do subs.
Oh, look at all these people. Let's start with a tiny space marine. It's up for 42 months. Holy fuck, it's been 3.5 years. Did you know that 42 is the decimal code for asterisk, leading to the theory that the meaning of life is anything?
Oh, wow. That's really...
That is good.
Wow, the wild card. Original Garwolf is resubbed for the 12th month. This sub is brought to you by Aperture Science. Exquisite cakes and pastries for all occasions.
Have you read the recipe for that cake?
No.
It would kill you.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Inglonious for 13 months.
Does it have hazelnuts?
I think it might have hydrogen peroxide.
Oh.
Or maybe hydrazine. All right, let's just casually break the laws of relativity. Take that, Einstein.
Earthen One has given us 50 bits, saying time for another episode of Roguelike Roundup, Healthy Edition.
Eric Christian Berg is a new sub. Welcome to the channel.
Ferocious Peach resubbed for the 13th month, saying, woo, FTL, open the airlocks and suffocate the fires.
Honey Badger 805 sub for 4 months. Happy New Year.
Cinnamon Roll has resubbed for the 8th month, saying time to jump into our highly flammable ship and hope for the best in the cold void.
Literal Actual Sub Babby subscribe for 10 months. Twitch lets you change names every 60 days. I'm not sure a certain one gag sub every 2 months is a great rate, but hey, it's something.
Obsidian Wolf resubbed for the 10th month, saying, ooh, it's Roguelike night.
Banak Spacebar for 4 months. Randomly turn into a stream as a game I have hundreds of hours of on. Pro tip, the most effective firefighting tools is the cold vacuum of space.
Samurai Tiger resubbed for the 18th month, saying, ooh, I remember this game from a while ago. This will be fun.
Ignatius Pants for 4 months. Hello there, friends. I'm honored to be resubbing during a talking simulator, but my favorite space roguelike.
Ectobiologist resubbed for Ectobiologist 64, resubbed for the 6th month, saying, watching streams like this let me and my girlfriend watch something together across literal continents. Thanks.
Coco Maru for 5 months. Ooh, space talking, cool.
Fimble has resubbed for the 10th month, saying, open the pod bay doors, Cam, starve the borders of oxygen, and let the cold darkness of the infinite black expanse take them.
Outer Space and Time, cheer to the 100 bits. FTL, the game I failed so hard that I fled back to point and clicks for months.
Xantos69 cheered with 50 bits, saying, oh, I really enjoy this game.
Real Gamer Cal for 49 months. Whoop, love this game. Earn Jesus.
Electric Cal resubbed for 15 months, saying, Shoots and Ladders is about the cycle of life and death and rebirth. Is life a game?
DJ Shire for 32 months. You have to be forgiving of Simon and Soma, given his situation. He's really wet behind the ears. Get
boo!
Out. Boo this man!
Boo.
Boo this human!
Austin W. Reeves is supporting us on Patreon. Thank you very much.
Death Koala for 3 months. That's some well-simulated talking right there.
Fuzzy Fozzie has resubbed for the 2nd month. Welcome back.
Romanian My Estushian for 32 months. Nuke the Cypher Morbid. It's the only way to be sure.
Argonathium has resubbed for the 7th month. Thank you.
Spiders on the inside, just subscribe.
Okay.
Ah! What's inside me?
The Waiting resub for the 6th month, saying, "Hello, Alex and Cameron. Hope you're having a good night, and thank you for being wonderful. And thank you for being here."
The Figment for 26 months. Happy to finally catch one of these lives. Keep being awesome, you two.
Tyran Dragon resub for the 26th month, saying, "Unknown person's frank exchange of bullets. The ultimate roguelike."
Snowbound with 100 bits. Rip.
Phonexian resub for the 2nd month, saying, "Woo, 2 months and on a stream this time."
Bugged Out is a new sub. Welcome to the channel.
J. Clem Plays is a resub for the 28th month. Hello, Cam and Alex. Hello.
302 Dave just subscribed. Welcome to the channel.
Xanto69 gave us 50 bits, saying, "I don't mind watching sad movies or reading a sad book. I also don't mind playing a sad video game. But I don't enjoy playing a video game that makes me fail over and over because the medium of video games makes you, the player, do the action. I don't like to feel like a failure, so I don't play games that make me feel that way." That's solid.
Catacast for 7 months. Only 2 more months till the sub babby arrives.
Bandwidth Raptor has cheered with 100 bits. Thank you.
Lord Haas for 20 months. Sing to me of the man Muse, the man of twists and turns, driven time and again off course. Once he had plundered the hallowed heights of Troy, many cities of men he saw and learned their minds. Many pains he suffered, heartsick in the open sea, fighting.
Oh, Hosk, have you read the new Emily Wilson translation of the Odyssey? It's so good.
Dang.
It's so good. Rock Pusher gave us 100 bits, saying, "Dear Dr. Lur, I had many an interesting emergent narrative in FTL. Heroic sacrifices, Pyrrhic victories, and the like. Do you have any particular memorable ones from games you've played that have stuck with you?"
3 Nugget just subscribed. Welcome to the channel.
Nihilus826 is resubbed for the 16th month.
JMD Wow for 15 months. Oh, you're doing subs. Quick, gotta do the thing.
Vias has resubbed for the 5th month. Welcome back.
Rock Pusher with 100 bits. Thank you for another interesting and thoughtful talking simulator. Have a good evening. Well, thank you all.
Yeah, this
and
was...
Big Mean Shark squeaking in at the end.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you for the sub.
All right, well, this one went really quite well.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We were honestly a little trepidatious because this game is very beloved and we thought we might be like tearing it a new asshole, but...
Well, not even like tearing it a
not
new
even,
asshole,
because we don't do that on this show.
Yeah, but like whenever you're like, I don't actually love this game, of a beloved game, people can be very...
enthusiastic about correcting you.
Yeah.
Tactus Vigil, treat with 100 bits. Thanks for making me feel a little better today, Cameron and Alex, even if I don't deserve it. That's not true.
You deserve to feel good.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we'll see
thank you.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow is the Rivals of Ixalan pre-release.
Holy shit.
So, do you like Magic cards? Do you like new Magic cards? If so, you can tune in at 10 a.m. tomorrow here. We have a guest list somewhere of all the rad guests we have this time.
Melissa Tortora.
Yeah, Melissa Tortora. She's a big deal. I hope I don't embarrass myself in front of her. Too late. Shit. Okay, so yeah, tune in. It's gonna be awesome.
So you just had this mental image of you like extending your hand to shake and like farting so hard you blow your pants off. And then just like your brain deciding to cut off your supply of oxygen to save you from further embarrassment. It's time to go.
And the doctors are like later, weird, his brain simply shut off.
It just flipped off like a toggle.
God, okay, no. Why did that remind me of the Timothy Zahn Thrawn trilogy? The Imperials find like this Jedi Master, and at one point the Jedi Master force chokes this Imperial general to murder him. Like he was supposed to be his supervisor, right? And the doctors are examining this because he's surreptitiously murdered, and it was like, yes, the doctors say his brain simply shut off. And Thrawn is like, people's brains don't simply shut off. That's not a thing that can happen.
Yep. Oh, all right. We're going to go away now.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to jam on that follow button and check out the Discord.
Yes. Melissa DeTora, Chris Van Meter, Evan Irwin, and Ruben Bresler. All cool folks.
Adam Savadan.
Cameron Lauder, Kathleen DeVere, Graham Stark.
James Turner? I don't know.
James is our producer.
James Turner. All right. For real now. Did you gotta? Was that really necessary? Do you feel proud?
Yeah.